Dr. Joseph Sonnier was a man who seemed to have it all. A respected pathologist, a successful businessman, and a doting father. He was living the single life in Lubbock, Texas. But beneath the surface, he carried the weight of a painful loss. Just 2 years earlier, his ex-wife, Becky, had been killed in a murder-suicide. Now, Joseph was rebuilding his life, and he found joy again on the dance floor. That's where he met Rochelle Shatina, a stunning divorcee who shared his love for ballroom dancing. Their connection was instant, and soon they were inseparable. But Rochelle had a past of her own. Before Joseph, she had been in a tumultuous relationship with Dr. Thomas Michael Dixon, a plastic surgeon from Amarillo. Dixon was charming, wealthy, and used to getting what he wanted. And what he wanted was Rochelle back. Even after she left him for Joseph, Dixon couldn't let go. His obsession would soon turn deadly. On a sweltering July afternoon, landscapers arrived at Dr. Sonnier's sprawling Lubbock home to tend to the yard. What they found inside the garage would shock the community.
911, what's the emergency?
Somebody has broken a window in the back, and the doctor did not show up for work today. Oh no! Oh God!
Ma'am, what's going on?
Joseph lay dead, shot, and stabbed multiple times. Next to his body was a Gatorade-bottle, crudely fashioned into a silencer. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. It was a hit. The detective called to the scene noticed something unusual. Nothing had been stolen. The artwork, the expensive furniture, it was all untouched. This wasn't a random act of violence. Someone had come to that house with one purpose: to kill Dr. Sonnier. Rochelle revealed that her ex-boyfriend, Dr. Mike Dixon, had been obsessed with her. He'd even offered to share her with Joseph, but she refused. Now, detectives wondered, was Dixon capable of murder? The detective on the case knew he had to interview Dr. Dixon. In a secretly recorded interview, Dixon denied any involvement in the murder. He claimed he hadn't spoken to Rochelle in months and had moved on with his life, but Johnson wasn't convinced. Dixon's calm demeanor and evasive answers only raised more red flags. Listen to the interview and form your own opinion.
What's going on?
Well, we've had a homicide in Lubbock, Texas today.
Sort of shocked that I'm brought up.
You're on the list of like 8 million people. This is a huge whodunit for sure.
Well, I didn't. I haven't talked to her in months and months. You know, I'll be honest with you, I love that woman. I really did. Really had fallen head over heels. In fact, made a lot of life changes for her.
The break in the case came when a man named Paul Reynolds called police.
My name's Paul Reynolds. I think we got a crime that happened down here in Lubbock. It's a homicide. And with this friend of mine, he said he went down there and he said he shot the guy.
And what is your roommate's name?
His name's Dave Shepard. Shepard.
Shepard, a drifter with a criminal past, had no connection to Joseph Sonnier. Shepard was connected, we will say, best friends with Dr. Mike Dixon. Dr. Dixon and Mike Shepard, an unlikely pair, bonded over cigars, martinis, love lost, and shared divorce experiences. Investigators dug into Shepard's finances and found something suspicious: a large payment, far more than someone in his position would normally have. That, combined with the DNA evidence on the Gatorade bottle and the incriminating photo, was enough to push detectives toward their next move. It was time to confront the men behind the murder, David Shepard and Dr. Mike Dixon. Shepard and Dixon were arrested and interrogated. Both were held on $10 million bail, a sign of the severity of the crime. Listen to part of the Shepard interview where he talks about Mike Dixon's desire to break up Rochelle and Dr. Sonnier.
This Rochelle Shatina best estimate is September, October. He's around 49, 50 years old, smoking hot, looks younger than she was, thought she was great, and he pretty much wanted to break up Dr. Sonnier and Rochelle.
Contrast that interrogation with Dixon's interview, where he denies any knowledge of the crime.
I mean, this under arrest at 2:15 in the morning.
You're under arrest, correct. And this is probably your only opportunity to tell me what happened.
I want an attorney then.
During questioning, Shepard confessed that Dixon had paid him to carry out the hit. His payment, 2 silver bars. Their friendship had been built on nights of cigars and drinks, where they bonded over their shared obsession with Rochelle. They schemed about ways to win her back, from hiring an escort to falsely accuse Sonnier of cheating to pranks, inspired by a book called Getting Even, the complete book of dirty tricks. Some of their ideas were harmless, but others, like stalking and harassment, could have landed them in prison even before the murder. But in the end, Dixon wanted Sonnier gone, and Shepard was willing to do the job. Shepard's confession was chilling. He described how he had waited in Joseph's backyard, armed with a gun and a knife. To muffle the gunshots, he had even crafted a makeshift silencer using a Gatorade-bottle. When Joseph arrived home and noticed Shepard lurking in the yard, he knocked on the window, perhaps assuming it was a burglar or someone in need of help. But Shepard panicked. He fired through the glass, hitting Joseph multiple times. As his victim stumbled toward the garage, Shepard followed, mercilessly stabbing him until he collapsed. It was a brutal, calculated killing. With the overwhelming evidence against him, Shepard took a plea deal, avoiding the death penalty in exchange for life in prison. But Dixon refused to confess. He maintained his innocence, complaining about the $10 million bail and demanding an attorney.
You're arrested.
You're under arrest, correct. Okay, because right now, all I've got is Dave's version of events. And as you guys, he went ahead and he told me everything. Okay? And I mean,
I don't know
that's all I
what
got.
everything is. I mean, I don't.
Okay, well,
You've got.
Dixon's first trial ended in a hung jury, a temporary victory for the disgraced doctor. But prosecutors weren't finished. At his second trial, the evidence was impossible to ignore. Text messages between Dixon and Shepard revealed the murder-for-hire plot in real time. The silver bars used as payment were undeniable proof of the transaction, but the most damning testimony came from an unexpected witness, Shepard's daughter, Haley. On the stand, she recounted a night shortly after the murder when her father, who was usually broke, suddenly had enough money to treat the family to an expensive steak dinner. When she asked how he could afford it, he casually responded, "I did some work for Mike, and he paid me early." That single statement shattered any remaining doubts. After just 3 hours of deliberation, the jury returned its verdict: guilty on 2 counts of capital murder. Dixon was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For Joseph's family, it was a bittersweet victory. Justice had been served, but no verdict could bring back the man they loved.